Rink cleared for contact. What's that picture look like? And I assume is he full go with everything?
He is full go. It'll be his first extended 5-on-5 session tomorrow. We're gonna scrimmage more. It won't be a full scrimmage. We'll still control it a little bit, but it'll be good to see Rink out there and see how he's doing. We're going to be careful. We'll stop it if it's going too many possessions to get him in and out. But you can see him getting more comfortable every day he's out there. I thought today was his best day. I thought his lift looked better after a weekend off, and it's just so good to have him out there. You kind of forget all the things that he does for this team, not only with his ability to shoot it and stretch the floor, but defensively, he's one of the better pick-and-roll defenders on this team. He gets deflections in his communication. The way he talks throughout the possession on both ends of the floor, we really missed that last year. So it's been awesome to have him. He's still rusty, as expected, when you have over a year off the court, but he's getting better every practice. So, yeah, it's such a luxury having him back out there on the floor.
What do you think holistically, what do you think you've learned about your team through these summer sessions?
Well, first of all, I can't believe how fast it's gone. I can't believe we've already, going into our 6th week. And I'll say this, I love how they compete. Every day, the guys have never come in where we've had to jump them to get them going. That's been an innate quality with this team, is they come in the gym ready to go. And that's huge for the coaching staff. And if it has been a little lethargic, the guys get together and they talk themselves out of it right away. Very few times have we had to stop a drill and re-explain something. I mean, some of our younger guys at times, we're still getting them acclimated, but overall this has been a team that's learned, I think, very quickly. And we've thrown a lot at them. And, we put a cleanup edit for them to watch on their own in the evening, just because we have a limited number of hours we can be with them in the gym. And they've been very diligent with their work. And that's the biggest thing I've been impressed with, is how they've come in every day and competed. And, we as all teams at this stage of the game, we've got a lot to clean up. But I'm really happy with what we've gotten accomplished here this summer. I thought it was okay. I love the original. That's a top 5 movie for me of all time. When they're starting to look like aliens now, I just didn't. I'm a purist. Yeah.
And more on a serious note, last time you spoke to us, you said there were potentially 3 or 4 points that you're looking at. How's that position going?
Yeah, it's going well. It's great to have Jamarcus back out there. I love his pace that he plays with on every possession. And he's done a really nice job of finding guys. I've had to tell him to be more aggressive on the offensive end. He's had a very good week shooting. The last week he shot the ball very well. But he's really taken it upon himself to try to get everybody involved, which you have to have if you're going to play with the ball in your hands as much as he does. I've been really impressed with Kendall Blue's decision-making. He's done a great job getting the ball into the pocket where a lot of good things happen when we get it in there, whether you spray it out to the extra in the corner, the big can go in there and finish, but you can play with numbers when you draw 2 to the ball, and I think Kendall's done a really good job of reading those situations. Sam actually has had the most assists of anybody on our team this summer, whether it's with the ball in his hands or off ball. We've had a few guys in and out a little bit with some little nagging, nothing serious, but little nagging injuries, which has gotten other guys a chance to play with the ball in their hands. And then Cale. Cale's just rock solid. Anytime he has the ball, getting us into an action, seeing where guys are on the floor. Cale's one of the smartest players, that we've had. And then Rink, I'd throw him in that mix as well, as a guy that can certainly initiate the offense for us. And, again, it's pretty rare when you have a 5-man that can pressure up the floor. So, having the big that can be, somewhat of a pressure release, again, is one of the things we missed a lot with Rink out of the lineup a year ago.
Leo Curtis impressed you over his first month here after that time off. Has he kind of picked up where he left off, or what's
Yeah, we've been careful with Leo. Just he played a lot of games in a short amount of time with his national team. So we've been understanding the time zone that he had to travel through to get back here, and we didn't do anything live with him last week. Today was really his first day back, where he actually did some live work, and then he'll do some, not all. He and Rink will actually split a lot of the reps tomorrow in the scrimmage, but we just want to make sure that we go into the fall healthy with Leo. And again, I talked about Leo's skill, but his IQ is off the charts. And he's still got to work on his body, as all freshmen do, and mature a little bit in that area. But he does a lot of really good things out there on the floor on both ends. He just moves so well for a young kid that's 7'1", and he's got a really bright future ahead of him.
With Cale in that point guard rotation, how have you seen him build on the last 4 or 5 games he had at Flex?
Yeah, I think a big thing is confidence, knowing that you can go out there and make a big impact. He was as important as anybody on the floor for us in that little run we made at the end of the season in the tournament, and he's carried that over into the summer. And Cale's the guy that's always going to get out there and work. You see him in the gym all the time. All our guys, we've got that little shooting system now, the Noah shooting system, and you can see who's in the gym getting shots up. And Cale's one of the top guys as far as a guy that's putting in extra work to really make that consistent. And he shot it well. When you look at what he did in the Crown, knocking down shots at a high percentage, but timely shots. He made some huge ones for us in crunch time. So, he continues to make that consistent. He does so many other things out there for us, that he's going to definitely be a rotation player for us.
Have you seen Freger's confidence also grow? Where's he at right now?
I promise you this, I'm never going to have to worry about Freger's confidence. He lets that thing fly, and I love that. I love that about him. And, his pop, his athleticism, he just goes out, he's relentless after the ball. And he's been solid defensively. That's one thing I think you worry a little bit about is the transition when you become eligible after a redshirt year. Is how are you going to pick up the system? He's done a really good job with the offense, but I've been impressed with defensively how quickly he has picked up the system, because we do have a complicated scheme that we run on that end of the floor. But he's picked it up very quickly, and his physicality, his athleticism. That's what that's what's going to separate Braden. You always want him to talk more, and we have, bless you, we have had to stop practices at times to get him to talk more. And listen, having Rink out there has been great. I think Sam has really stepped up his leadership with his voice. But again, I'm going to continue to point to Rink with the intangibles, those little things that you miss, that you're seeing back out there again. You take it for granted a little bit, but Rink has done a great job getting out there, setting the tone with his voice. And then again, Sam, Kale, Jamarcus has been really impressive with his voice as well. Braden's got a good voice. So yeah, I think as a whole, collectively, I do think it's a better talking group. The true test is, are they going to continue to do it when things get tough, when adversity hits us? Are they going to continue to go out there and talk as a group? Because if you don't, you put your head down, in this league, you're done.
I know Barricade approaches this as a pretty critical offseason for him, just to kind of get his body right coming off the injury. Has he made cycle progress with the folks over the last few months?
Yeah, he's been good. He's dealing with a little nagging injury right now. He will not play tomorrow in the scrimmage. But overall, I'd say BK has had an unbelievable summer, and I think a big part of it, he came in a lot better shape than he did a year ago. He had national team commitments last year, and then he took a little bit of an extended time off coming in, and that put him behind a little bit at the beginning. When BK was in great shape last year, that's when we played our best basketball. So I've been really impressed with the shape that he came in. He stayed lean throughout the summer, and these are a critical couple weeks. He's going to stay in town. He's not going home this year like he did a year ago, and I really think that's going to help him.
What have you seen from Jamarcus in that year since you had him?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. First time, not just kidding, Mike, but he is a you're my guy, Mike. The thing I've seen the biggest growth with Jamarcus is his leadership. And, he was really, really quiet. And he was a guy that would put his head down a little bit when you got on him and you coached him and you jumped him. But that's the area I've seen the most growth with Jamarcus is just overall leadership. You can see him over there on the sideline. Even when he's not in the rep, he's trying to talk Q, telling him where to be. He's talking to Leo. He's talking to our young guys. Because I think he knows how hard that is when you come in as a freshman or a young player, maybe a new person into the system like Kendall. But Jamarcus has been all in, and I've been really pleased with everything that he went through a year ago. He was thrust into a position last year at the point where he started and had the ball in his hands a lot. I really think that helped him, and he played for a guy I really respect a lot in Archie. So, I think Jamarcus has been terrific, and looking for a big year out of him.
What does the adjustment look like for Kendall playing with the ball in his hands, like off ball on?
Yeah, I think that's his value. I think when you got a guy that's 6'6", that can play make like that, it's a great luxury to have. You can see over the top of the defender. You can generally have a smaller guy on you. We had a couple years ago with Greasel, we'd put him in the post quite a bit in mismatch situations. So just having a guy that has that type of size that can play the lead guard and get you into an offense is a great luxury to have. And I love bigger guards, and he's shown flashes of being really good with the ball in his hands.
I know it's a lot for Quentin as a true freshman, what he's taking on right now, but how's he doing?
Yeah, I've talked about this with Q. I do think he's as athletic as anybody on our team, and he does things that you just can't teach. And he'll continue to go through it, and he's made improvements every week as far as picking things up. And it's hard. I remember going in as a freshman, just how wide-eyed you are, with the whole thing, especially playing with as many older guys as we have on this group. But Q, he can make a shot, he can make tough shots, and just that athleticism that you can't teach. He gets in a stance on the defensive end of the floor, and that's what we talk to him. You guys want to roll? Go out and defend. Go out and show you can guard. Go out and show you can be a guy that can steal possessions for you. So, again, it's going to be a very competitive fall. It's been a very competitive summer. The 5 weeks and then the practices, the 30 practices we get heading into the season, will determine who's going to be out there on the floor. But right now, I have no idea of what the overall, who's going to actually be in the rotation. We've had some guys that have stood out that I know will be in it, but there's still guys fighting, for spots in the rotation, and it's great. It's been fun. It's been a lot of fun this summer, just because again of the competitive spirit of this group, and all that will be determined here when we get back from the break.
With that, not knowing what the rotation will be, does that excite you or does that stress you out?
It stresses me out. Yeah, and that's one of the things that causes sleepless nights. Amy, it all plays itself out eventually. The rotation at the beginning of the year a lot of times isn't what it is at the end. Guys step up. Cale's a perfect example. Sam and Jamarcus were good examples of that a couple years ago with Bandamel and Gary going down. And it is stressful, but at the same time, it's a good problem to have when you have as many players, I think, that can step on the floor and make an impact for you. And then we'll have a lot of scrimmages. We'll have the exhibitions against BYU and Midland, and all that will play a part. Who's doing the extra work, who's watching their film, who's going out there and taking steps in the right direction every single time they step on the floor. All that matters. This summer, played a part in who we think is ready and who needs more work. They're all going to go home with the program. They're all going to go home with a film edit, and it's a time to get better. It's not a time to go sit in the couch and eat bonbons. Nobody in our team knew what a bonbon was, but it's a time for these guys to improve and come back. And we can't skip a beat. We don't have as much time in the fall as we've had in the past. It's a little bit of a shortened season heading into the opener. So it's important these guys continue to learn when they're on the break. Yeah, I think all the guys that have played with the ball in their hands, they all are a little unique in their own way. They all have a little bit of a different skill set out there on the floor. And listen, we've always played a multi-handler system. Even going back when we had Greasel and Derek and Bandamel, those guys all handled the ball. When we had Jamarcus with Bryce, a couple of years ago, they would take turns sometimes bringing the ball up the floor, and it's having as many playmakers on the floor as you can. I think that's when you're toughest to guard, is when you got 5 guys that can pass, shoot, and dribble. And this year I do think we have a better shooting team. At least that has shown in the summer with our percentages. And that's we did not shoot. We shot under 45% on wide open threes last year. You know, you got to be better than that. I think teams team shot 45 against us. We shot under 37 on open threes. That's not good enough. You know, you have to be able to knock down your shots. And, you know, I do think we've addressed that with this group. And when you have an 8 percentage point different on open threes with your opponent and you, it's, you know, sometimes it can be hard to win those games. So, you know, I do think that, you know, we shoot it better, but, you know, I think we play make. We've got more guys that can make plays this year.
Have you seen somebody like Rink take a layup underneath his wing and both international guys with even skill sets first?
Yeah, and I think Oogie has helped as well. You know, Oogie's a guy I haven't talked much about, but he's a guy that can shoot it. He can pass. He's got a really good assist-to-turnover ratio with what he has shown this summer. And, you know, listen, Rink's still working his way back. So, you know, and then Leo had the extended time away. But he is good for him. And we tell Leo, watch Rink. You know, he knows this system inside and out. And when you're getting the next rep, make sure you see what he's doing out there on the floor. So, yeah, Rink can be a huge help for him as well as Oogie. You got 3 international guys at that spot. And, you know, again, I think all of them can play. And then the other guy's Jared. Jared's got the size and athleticism, you know, to be able to play multiple positions and play both front court spots. So we do have some depth this year on the front line as well, which, again, last year that was not one of our strengths.
I know Jared had a knee injury last year. How's that looked? Has he been limited with all of that?
He was limited a little bit early, but he's been full go, you know, for the last couple weeks, and I'm looking forward to seeing him in a little bit more of an extended time. He's still working his way back into shape, but you know, again, Jared with his pop and athleticism and ability to make shots. I mean, he'll go on runs where he hits, you know, 2 or 3 threes in a row, and then again with his athleticism, we needed that with this roster. And at the end of the summer, it was a great pickup for us.
Bryce said you've been tinkering with his shot. How is that going?
Price,
Yeah.
well. He's shooting the cover off the ball right now, so that's been good. The biggest thing I saw early, I thought he was rushing his shot a little bit, and he wasn't finishing. But you know, the last few weeks he's been. You know, if there's been a better shooter in the country, I'd like to see it because he's making everything right now.
Jamarcus on the radio last week made a comment like, you know, with how good you guys are shooting this, he doesn't know if you guys are really shooting that good or if the defense is not. I guess, how do you judge that this time of year, with how good the shooting actually is or how good the defense is at?
Well, I think you compare numbers. I mean, you know, we played the same defense last year, and you know, when you look at the numbers where they are right now, you know, it's a much higher shooting percentage. But you know, listen, it doesn't matter until you get out in the fall, and can you make them when the lights turn on? I mean, that's going to be the true test of it. But you know, we can only judge on what we've seen so far, and this team has been a group. And the other thing, they're unselfish. If there's an extra pass to make, they make it. And when you've got 2, you know, what we call lasers on the side of the floor, you got a Connor and a Price out there together, then, you know, it's a kind of a pick your poison who you're going to rotate to. Or last year, I think we had guys, maybe you stunted and stayed home, you know, with a Connor or with a shooter. So, you know, again, when you have 5 guys that can knock down shots, you know, it's a fun team to coach. There's a lot of options, a lot of things you can run out there. And then again, if the defense makes a mistake, you know, hopefully you can make them pay. Where last year, sometimes if team made a mistake, we'd have a wide open shot and we'd throw it off the side of the backboard. So, you know, and again, listen, you look at last year's team, we're missing a lot of what we lost. I mean, we missed Juwan, you know, his intangibles, what he brought every day. Obviously, we missed Bryce, a guy that could just flat out go get you a bucket when you needed one. You know, Raleigh had great size at the one before Raleigh got hurt. He was having a hell of a year. You know, Andrew Morgan brought, you know, a lot to that team. So we missed a lot of the guys, you know, but I do think when you look overall, top to bottom, with this group, we do have better shooting, and you know, again, there's some areas we're lacking. We're not as good, you know, in some of the things that we did a year ago. But you know, I do think shooting is definitely something that we addressed.
Is there one player that surprised you, the coaching staff, the most with the development the past 6 weeks?
I've just been impressed with the overall group. I've seen pretty much growth across the board. I don't think there's been one guy that has gone the wrong direction in these you know, 5+ weeks that we've had. And you know, that's for us. That's what you want to see. That's what makes you proud of them when they have it. I've had individual meetings with all the returners last week on Friday. I'm going to meet with all the newcomers today, and you know, just make sure everybody's clear and understands and what's expected of them when they're gone, and how we can take this thing you know, to the next level. So you know, I've just been impressed across the board with how this group has continued to get better.
Where would you like to see improvement
I'd like to see us physicality. I could see us, definitely being a need for us to be more physical, and especially in this league. I think the league's going to be an absolute monster, the best it's ever been, certainly since I've been here. And, you have to have a level of physicality to you if you want to compete. So I do think that, playing with more physicality on every possession and understanding the urgency of it. And listen, 2 years ago, we won a lot of those close games. Last year, we lost 3 in a row by 2 points. And, we did a lot of really good things last year, but we didn't close as well last year as we did the year before. And it was all different ways. A guy hits a 3, Minnesota. We miss a 3, Michigan. Ohio State, just a tough way to end that. Iowa, overtime. So there was a lot of games. We just need to be 1 or 2 possessions better, and physicality is a big part of that. Giving up an offensive rebound, going and getting an extra possession for your team. So, I'd just like to see that continue to grow and continue to improve. Sorry, Mike, go on. Okay. Good. Thank you, guys.
Everybody ready? Questions for Kale?
What did your off season look like? I guess before summer started and then continuing into just what were you working on? Where do you feel like you've grown since the end of the season?
Yeah, I mean, just a lot of continuing to build off kind of the way things ended. Continuing to stay in the gym, working on being kind of a primary ball handler and handling it a little bit more maybe, but then also just continuing to get shots up and continue to work on my jump shot because that's kind of a difference maker for me. If I can make shots, I think that really opens things up. So a lot of time working on shooting with coach and, yeah, just kind of staying in the gym, just having fun with it.
Coach said one of the things that has stood out for him with you with your confidence. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, it's just a little bit different. Once you've had a little bit of success, you've kind of been there, you know what it looks like and feels like to compete in those moments, and then you know what it takes every day. And when you have, we got to see guys like Bryce and Juwan who set an example every day, to kind of step into that. Obviously, I'm not going to be Bryce and Juwan, not what I'm trying to say, but to see how they worked and how we need to kind of bring that in with a bunch of new guys and show them what it looks like to practice like a Big Ten team, to be physical and to get ourselves to that standard of what it takes, because it's a tough league and every night is hard. So, yeah, just kind of being an example for some of the guys.
Mr. Hoiberg talked about it, really hard picking the rotation when you get to that. How competitive has it been with everybody coming together?
Yeah, I don't envy, I tell him this, I feel like every year, but as a guy who wants to coach, like sitting across his teams, there are just always 12 or 13 guys that think they should be on the court and that want to help us. And I don't envy his job when it comes to that. Because I think, like you said, it's super competitive every day. And there's a lot of guys that can play at a really high level. But I know that he's going to do what he feels is best for our group. And I think the exciting part about this year's team is there's 16 guys that are willing to do whatever he asks them to do for our team to make us the best we can be. So.
You mentioned Jawan. How do you see this group so far coming together, like on the defensive end and some of that intangible stuff? What's your early read on it?
Yeah, I mean, we play a team defense, and it takes all 5 guys to be locked in and dialed in. And so I think just trying to get everybody on that same page and the same kind of the same wavelength a little bit. Coach Nate and Coach Fred do an awesome job of that. And yeah, we're just going to keep working on it. Going against our offense every day and going against Coach when he comes off the whiteboard is a good way to get yourself better because he's a wizard with that thing. So, yeah, we just got to keep putting pieces together.
What did the last 4 games of last season do for you? I know you touched on this, but what does that do going forward? How does this summer, I guess, feel different having that under your belt?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't want it to change my mindset, right? Like, I still want to be someone who's going to work hard, play hard, and do the little things. And that's kind of what maybe I did well in those 4 games, but that's what I want to be every single night. And so I think just proving to myself maybe more so that I can compete at that level. But yeah, I want to still be the guy that does the little things and works hard and kind of brings the team together rather than trying to stand out. So.
Rink was recently cleared for contact. Just what's it been like having him back?
It's awesome. He just makes the floor's bigger, the game's easier for everybody. He just opens so many different things up just with the way that he shoots it and passes it. And honestly, all of our bigs are similar to Rink, right? Like, he's the most experienced. He's been here the longest, so he's maybe the most comfortable. But they all have the same feel. They can all shoot it in the same way. So I think that group of guys is going to be really good for us, and it's going to really help our offense flow.
Wanting to be a coach after you're done playing, how long would you say you've thought about it sometimes from the coaching angle? Like, did you always think that way even as a kid, or when do you think that kind of popped in for you?
Honestly, more so when my junior year of high school when I was out, and me and my high school coach were like best friends, so it was like I felt like I was almost a coach rather than a player on that team, and so figuring out ways to kind of adjust and to go into games was kind of when it first started to click for me. And then, yeah, like getting to sit across from coach in meetings, like I feel like he feels comfortable if I can bounce an idea off of him or say something to give him, and he doesn't always take my ideas, right? Like, he's probably thought of it 4 months before I see something. But I just like to see the game from that aspect, so.
Coach has said before, you said a few times about how you know like all 5 assignments, offense, defense. Where does that come from? How long did that take to get all of that down?
I feel like basketball, I feel like I can see basketball in the eyes of a coach almost, where it kind of clicks a little bit faster. And so now it's on me to help teach that, right, to be another coach on the floor, and to help our guys get spots down. Because once we can get all 5 spots down, that's when we really start to flow and our offense looks pretty. So, yeah, I don't know. For me, that was always – I grew up around basketball, and it all kind of clicked pretty early on. But
How new is the primary ball handling stuff, and it's just not making adjustments?
I was always kind of taking reps at it, on and off. But I feel like this summer it's just kind of been – like, if I get a rebound, and it's go. Like, we don't need to outlet it to a guy. We can just get into our offense faster, and it makes – I said flow a million times, but it makes us flow better. And when you have guys like Connor and Price and Frager and all the guys that we have that can really score it, like, if you can go when the defense is not set and they can be at a disadvantage, like, those guys are going to get more and more open shots the faster we play. And so I think it just makes things easier when we have 4 or 5 guys that can handle it rather than just having to outlet it to one.
Coach said Price has been shooting the cover.
Yeah, you want to be on Price's team at practice most days. The kid doesn't miss. He hit like 15 in a row today in our script stuff. Jeez, but he can score it.
How much do you think, when you talk about how the way you see the game as a coach, how much did the past few years of playing scout team and kind of viewing things from afar during games, how much did that develop that?
Yeah, it was huge for sure. And getting to, like, on a scout team, you're learning a team's plays in 2 days, and you're trying to execute them at the same level that they would in a game. And so you're learning terminology, you're learning all the different stuff. And so I think it makes you think faster, it makes you think critically. And yeah, I think that's definitely a huge part of where that came from, was the first couple years.
Are you going to spend the next couple, like, months or whatever, you guys come back in the fall?
TBD. Yeah, not really sure. Volleyball will get rolling here, so probably will be around, get to go watch some volleyball games. But go out, spend some time at the lake, and hang out with my family, and just kind of enjoy a little bit of downtime. So we'll have some guys hanging here. Some of them have to go to Europe to go home, so that's kind of a hard thing. So be around, hang out with those guys, and yeah, just kind of gear up for the next a lot of months. Because once it gets rolling, it doesn't stop. So we're excited about it. Thanks, guys.
Sam, I believe you were the first 5-year player that your dad has had here. Is that weird to think about, that this is your 5th season of college basketball?
Yeah, it's gone really fast, but I've loved every minute of it. I think just the best thing about it, the most rewarding thing, is looking back to where the program was when I got here to where it is now. And we want to keep getting it better, but I'm really proud of how much it's changed since I've got here and how much better really the program has gotten in my time here. And it's pretty crazy that it's already 5, but yeah, I'm looking forward to one more season.
With that experience and just being around and seeing how kind of the standard, how it's been raised, how much do you put on yourself to make sure that these young guys coming up kind of continue that after you move on after the season?
Yeah, there's a lot less room for error in the off season now. You can't take this time as just learning because we want to be good now. We won't want to be good in a couple of years. Like, we want to get everything, like all the system down and get those new guys to learn quickly and realize that they can make mistakes, but they have to learn from them quickly. And I just try to talk them through mistakes, know that it's not the end of the world if they can make them, but they got to watch their film. They got to grow from it.
How much, this being your last year, how much does it make you reflect on just your own journey of, you know, redshirting and then coming in, you guys got injured? How much do you think about just like the holistic part of that?
I don't think about it too much. I just think about trying to get better year by year and just help my team win. I mean, that's the main thing I've always focused on, is just doing the right thing to help the team win. If that was not playing and cheering on or making the hustle plays, anything like that, I'm focused on that at the moment. I'm sure when it's done, I'll really think about it more, but right now I'm just focusing on getting our team better.
What's it been like having Charlie around?
It's great. He's obviously a familiar face, so it's good to have that if I'm like struggling, because I can get in my head at times, and he's good to go to for that. But he's seen me at my best and my worst in terms of playing basketball and even other sports. So he knows how to calm me down sometimes and just keep me in the moment. And it's good to we can talk about anything, no matter what it is. And just having him as kind of there for me is going to be very helpful for me.
With him being around, has there been any cases of mixed up identity?
Yeah, it happens all the time, but it happens every time we're with each other, no matter where it is. Nothing crazy to this point, though. Everyone in the program, I think, kind of can tell us apart now. We're lifting a lot. He hasn't touched a weight since he's got here, I don't think, so it's pretty easy to tell us apart right now.
Outside of on the court, where have you seen just the biggest program?
Culture, for sure. I mean, we've hit on that ever since my redshirt freshman year about how much we wanted to change the culture, and we've seen it pay off in a big way. Just bringing the right guys, the right people around on the staff and everything. We're just trying to continue to build that culture and just have those expectations of getting this program to a place it's never been before, and we're not going to stop now.
So I've talked a lot about just with this on the system, when guys know what they're doing, they're in the right place, and you're making open shots, it can be almost unstoppable. Are you seeing that kind of take into effect where you have such a veteran team, you're shooting from what I was saying is drastically improved, but just the picture of that offense look the way that you kind of ideally want the system to look with the pieces in place?
Yeah, absolutely. There's times where it's really hard to guard, and everyone's trying to learn the offense and the defense still, so it's not going to be a perfect look right now, but there's times when we have so many shooters on the floor, you feel like you can do nothing out there on defense, and there's a ton of space. It's going to be a bit different than last year's team with the pieces we have, and I'm really looking forward to being a part of that group. But yeah, I think as we continue to learn, we can hopefully keep mastering the offense and the defense, and sky's the limit.
Red was saying you lead the team in assists this summer. How much have you, where do you feel like you've developed as an initiator and a point guard?
Yeah, I mean, I've always felt like I've had a good feel for passing. At times I would get too sped up, and my handling I don't think was up to par with, like, say, a real good point guard in the Big Ten. But I've really worked on my handling and kind of change of pace so I wouldn't get so sped up, and that's allowed me to see more reads out there and then be able to make the plays of the passing ability I had. But that's been very helpful. Satchel Stern is one of the GAs who's been really helpful, helped me improve that part of my game, and yeah, I'm hoping to carry that over into the season.
What's your view of the point guard room, obviously 4 options plus the 19 point just compared to what you guys had last year?
Yeah, I mean, we have so many guys that can handle it. I don't know if we'll have a point guard this year. It can be different. Whoever gets the rebound can be the point guard. But yeah, I'm hoping to get some run at point guard this year. I did get some last year when we were in foul trouble, but like I said, I've worked on my ball handling and my change of pace, which the point guard needs, and I think having multiple guys that can handle the ball and play the one is going to be very helpful for us, and it might look different every game, but with the guys we got, I think it can be a position that no one needs to worry about.
You talked about team culture before this. Coach Hoiberg talked about Jamarcus coming in, having a different type of mental leadership here. What have you seen on the court?
Yeah, I think Jamar's been really good since he's come back. He was part of those teams that we had started to fix the culture, so he's seen it. But as you get older, you kind of see the things that you were lacking in, I think, when you were 18 years old. And he's really reflected on that, and I think he's brought the mentality that he's not going to act like how he was when he got here, and he was good for the most part, but there may be things that he wanted to change, and he's completely changed that. And I think we've done a good job of trying to get all the other new guys to kind of buy into this culture that we're building, and no one has been an issue at all so far, and I feel really good about it.
You guys getting Rink back into full workload, or at least getting close to it. How much of a difference does just having him and everything that he does, especially on offense, just change things with the dynamic of that system?
He's such a good player. He's so fun to play with. He just makes passes that you don't even see. He sees them forming like as the play's going on. He hit one Frager on a back up for a dunk today that last year we probably wouldn't have made that pass because it didn't look open, but he threw it to space and Frager's able to run into it. But he just has that IQ that a lot of people don't have on the court, and he makes things easier for everybody else. And obviously having a 5 that can shoot threes opens up the rim for guards, and we can make more plays downhill. But he's so smart, and even defensively, he's a really good talker, and that always makes things easier. I guard the ball a lot, so ball screen coverage is really important with your talk, and he's really good in that. So just, I mean, he helps everything, he helps everyone, and it's just so good to have him back. Yeah, it was a ball, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't 50 Cent. It was just a little low in the box.
You know, your dad kind of talked about just the season kind of approaching fast and the BYU game and whatnot. Just do you feel like the summer's gone by fast, and how are you guys going to maybe use that time away to kind of continue to ramp up before the season?
Yeah, it definitely has gone by fast. I feel like it goes by faster every year. My freshman year summer felt like it was 8 months long, and this felt like it was 4 weeks. But yeah, I think this off time, it's a good time we had a long season last year. For me, I'm going to take some time off and just kind of get mentally cleared, and then the week leading into it, I'll really start grinding again and ramp it back up. But the summer can be tough because a lot of guys are learning new things, and it can be a mental strain, and it's a strain on your body as well with lifting. So I think taking enough time off to get your mental right and then getting your body back in good shape leading into the start of the season is really important. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the break. And I think guys take it differently sometimes, but for me, just get my head, I think, in a good place, and then get my body in a good place after that is kind of my goal. Thanks, guys.